Let's create our first virtual machine via portal. As you see, I have the default resource group which is created by Microsoft. I can create a resource group, or during the virtual machine creation also I can create a resource group. Type in virtual machine on top, or you can click on the virtual machine option from here. We don't have the resource group, so we are going to create a new one. I'm going to name it compute. VM name is Windows Web VM, because by just looking at it, I can see that this is a Windows operating system used for web server purpose, and it is not a container nor any other option but a virtual machine. I'll create this in EastUS. Throughout this course, you will see me using EastUS most of the time because all the resources are available and it's slightly cheap when compared to other regions. What is this availability option? Availability zone and set. We haven't seen anything so far, so I'm going to ignore this. And Azure Spot instance. It's not really very useful for us because Azure can revoke this particular virtual machine anytime with just 30 seconds of notice period. So it's not very useful for us. And we will go on to the next option, that is sizing. Do you see the SKU, the store keeping unit that we have seen in the PPT? These are all the different SKUs which are available for free trial. So I'm going to go for DS1 V2 series. I know it's a very poor configuration with one virtual CPU and 3.5 GB RAM, but we also must remember one thing. In the free trial, in the free subscription, we have the maximum limitation of only 6 CPUs. So I'm going to use all of them one by one. So choose DS1 V2 series, and I'm going to choose the operating system as Windows 2012 because the configuration that I have chosen is very less. So 2016 will be very slow in this configuration. I'm going to give a username and password. If you forget the username, there is no way that you can retrieve it. We can do a password reset, but username is very difficult. So let's do one thing. We will take the name of this virtual machine and I'm going to add the word user to it. I have given the password and confirmed it. Now, this is very important step. We are going to make it as a web server. Hence, we need HTTP and HTTPS, which are port number 80 and 443. We need RDP to get into the server via port number 3389. If you already have an on-prem setup, you will be able to save 50% of the cost because you already have a license. In our case, we don't have a license, hence I chose no. Always the operating system disk must be a premium SSD and encryption must be enabled by default. So I'm not making any change in this page. You can also add the data disk, but once we will create a virtual machine, we will add it later because that's your exam lab. So no changes in page number 2. This is a very, very important page, but unfortunately, we haven't learned anything about networking. So let's keep all the basic option and move on to the fourth page. Boot diagnostics. If there is any booting related issues, it will be really very helpful for you. Currently, I'm going to turn it off because it's not a production server. Also, you can enable auto shutdown, but manually you have to restart it. So I'm going to disable that option also and move on to advanced. Here I have an option to add extension. Now, what are these extension? Backup software, CI/CD tools, antivirus software, PowerShell desired state configuration for better compliance, scripting tools. These are some of the extensions that you can add. I'm going to ignore that option too. And tags, I'm going to give it for sales team with Indian rupee. Now click on review and create. The validation must be passed on all the resources and then the create option will be enabled. Now it is enabled. Click on create. The deployment is started. In order to create one virtual machine, Microsoft Azure is borrowing many other resource providers, public IP, virtual networks, network resources, and also the SKU of the virtual machine. All these are resource providers. Final outcome is our resource, which is our Windows virtual machine. This is going to take the next 3 minutes time, so I will pause the video. Our VM is ready. Click on Go to Resource and this will take us to the overview page. Now, we have seen three different connection options in the PPT. RDP for Windows, SSH for Linux and Bastion. We are going to use RDP. Alternatively, I can copy the public IP and I can do RDP to the machine. If you're on any other operating system, click on RDP. Download this file. When you open this file, this will take you inside the virtual machine. Give the correct username. Our username is Windows VM. I'm sorry, Windows Web VM, and the suffix is user so that I don't forget it. Give the password. Now it's taking me inside the remote desktop connection of that particular server we have created. See, within few minutes, our one server is up and running with the operating system. This is the main server manager page wherein I can add roles and features. Before adding a role, let's try to go to the overview page of the VM and put the public IP in the browser. I'm on my laptop, not inside the virtual machine. Get the public IP, put it in the browser. I'm not getting any output because I haven't enabled the internet services. So let's go to our virtual machine and add in the role. Now, in the fourth page, you will see all the roles. This is one of the main reason people go for Windows operating system, though the license cost is expensive. Here is what we are looking for. Web server, IIS. Keep all the options default and install. After 2 minutes, the installation is done. I'm closing this and I'm going back to my laptop to refresh the browser and see if I get anything specific. That's fantastic. I get the basic page of the Microsoft web server. Now I can edit in this page. Let's do a quick HTML edit and see if the reflection is here in this page. It's not important from the exam perspective, but you can just watch my screen to learn better. I'm going into the virtual machine. In the C folder, I have inetpub and www.root. Here is my HTML page. I'm opening it with a notepad and under body, I am adding the script. Welcome to India is the script that I'm adding and I'm closing it with the header 1, which is the maximum font. I've saved it. Now I go back to my laptop. I refresh this page. I'm able to see it here. Now this is how the HTML edit works. Within few minutes time, our Windows web server is ready. Imagine doing this in your on-premise setup. It usually takes few months for you to order the server and you need to deploy someone for operating system installation and then all the patchwork. Finally, after 3 months, your web server will be ready. Here, it hardly took me 5 minutes to execute this particular task. With this, let's move on to a Linux virtual machine creation.